All right, today we're talking about surface area of triangular prisms. For these particular prisms, you are going to use the same formula as you did for rectangular prisms, but we're going to change two little things. I want to remind you of the steps to solve. They're the same steps we've used with cylinders, surface area of rectangular prisms, and we're going to use them again for triangular prisms. You're going to draw and label the base, and you're going to label every number on the base. You're going to write the formula, you're going to fill in the formula, and then we're going to calculate using Desmos, okay? So let's start with number one. I have this triangular prism here. On triangular prisms, the base is always a triangle, okay? So when you're drawing and labeling your base, this is the shape you're going to draw and label, okay? So I'm going to flip my page over. I'm going to find the number one box, and I'm going to draw that triangle. And then you're going to also label that height. So the numbers I see are 5 and 5. Your height inside the triangle is 3. The base is 4, and the other height is 15. So 5, 5, 3, 4, and then 15. I did not specify lateral or total. I said define both in the directions. So we're going to do both for each shape here. Okay? So up here, I'm going to write lateral, so we know that's what we're doing. For lateral surface area of a prism, you're going to come to your formula chart, find the surface area section, find prism, and lateral. So we're doing this formula right here, S equals big P times H. Just a reminder, big P stands for perimeter of the base, meaning you're going to add up the outside sides of the triangle only, okay? So this 5, 5, and this 4. Do not use this height in the middle. That is not an outside side, okay? So in parentheses, 5 plus 5 plus 4, close. And then this H right here stands for the height of the prism, which is this 15. And then you're going to go to Desmos and calculate. So 5 plus 5. Nope, let me put it in parentheses. 5 plus 5 plus 4. Close times 15. So you should get 210 as your lateral surface area. When you find lateral surface area, that's all the sides, the rectangular sides. Okay? Of the prism. Now, for total, you're going to come back to your formula chart, and you're going to look at the total surface area formula of a prism, which is this one right here. Big P times H plus 2 times big B. Now, we know that big P is perimeter of the base. Big B stands for area of the base. The base is a triangle. So if you go back to your formula chart and you look at area of a triangle formula, it's right here. It's 1/2 little b little h. So I'm going to write that right above this B. 1/2 little b little h. So you're not just plugging in a number, you're going to plug in a formula, some other numbers, okay? So let's look at what that looks like with this particular triangle. So big P, that's perimeter of the base, so adding up the outside side. So 5 plus 5 plus 4 times the height of the prism, which is 15. After you write that 15, when you're doing total, I want you to come up here and put a big X on it. You're not using that number again. Plus 2, open parentheses, and this is where we're going to input 1/2 little b little h. Instead of writing 1/2, I'm going to put 0.5 because that's what I'm going to type in the calculator. It's just easier. So 0.5 times this b and this h are the base and the height of the triangle. So you're going to come up here to the triangle and you're going to look for the right angle. Do you see this right angle? Your base and your height make the right angle. So our base and height are 3 and 4. So times 3 times 4. And now all we have to do is calculate. So we're going to come back to Desmos. And I've already got the lateral typed in, so I'm really just adding plus 2 times 0.5 times 3 times 4. You should get 222. All right, so you got 222. That's it for this question. So let's move to number 4. I want to look at number 4. So we're going to flip the paper back over. You're going to find number 4. It's this one right here. So notice the triangle you're drawing. I see 2 here. This is the one you're going to draw and label, okay? So flip your paper back over. And you're going to label the sides with the numbers. Notice the longer side on the triangle is not labeled here, but it is over here. So that number you're just going to bring over here. All right, I've got my triangle drawn and labeled. Now let's do lateral surface area. The formula won't change throughout. Okay, so it's going to be big P times H again. Remember, P is perimeter of the base, so we're adding up the outside sides. So for this one, it's 2.5 plus 5.2 plus 6.3. And then times the height of the prism, which is 3. Then your last step is to calculate. So type that in on Desmos. And you should get 42. For the lateral surface area. Now, moving on to total. The same formula we used earlier. It's big P H plus 2 big B. And then remember, we're going to write that 1/2 BH above the big B. Now we're going to fill it in. So big P is the same as it was for lateral. We're going to write those outside sides, 2.5 plus 5.2 plus 6.3 times the height of the prism, which for this one is 3. Remember, for total, you're going to come up here and put an X on that so you don't get confused. Plus 2 times 1/2, we're going to use 0.5 times the base and the height of the triangle. So you find your right angle, 2 and 6.3. Okay, those are your numbers. So times 2 times, I'm going to bring my 6.3 down here. Ran out of room. Now we're going to calculate. And you should have gotten 54.6. All right, we're going to do one more together, and then you're going to try 2 on your own. So let's go to number 5. That's the one I want you to look at next. So let's flip to number 5. It's a special kind of triangular prism. look at the base of this shape. I want you to think about what kind of triangle this is. Do you see this right angle right here? That means this base is a right triangle. That's different for us because we're missing that middle number that is the height for the triangle because we don't need it because the base and the height make a right angle. So on your picture, when you have a right triangle, your base also needs to be a right triangle when you draw it, okay? I'm going to draw it the way I like to look at it too. Now, the right angle is important. Whatever numbers are touching the right angle in your figure, you're going to make sure they're touching the right angle in your picture, okay? So go back to number 5, and I see that 3 and 4 are the ones touching the right angle. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to label them with 3 and 4. I also saw the side opposite that was 5, and then the height is 6. So now that I've got everything labeled, I'm going to do lateral surface area. Using that same formula, big P times H. So for big P, you're adding 3 plus 4 plus 5 times the height of 6. Now you need to calculate. And you get 72. So that's your lateral surface area. We're going to use that other formula for total. So big P times H plus 2 times big B. Remember, you're going to write that 1/2 little b little h on top. All right, now fill it in. We've got 3 plus 4 plus 5 for your perimeter. Your height is that 6 plus, go ahead and cross off your 6 so you don't use it again. 2. Instead of 1/2, I'm going to use 0.5. Now the base and the height of the triangle, this is where I see the mistakes on the right triangular prisms. You're going to come up here, find the right angle, and the two numbers touching the right angle are your base and height. So 3 times 4. And then you're going to calculate. And you should get 84. All right, at this point, I want you to pause the video and do number 2 and 3 on your own, and then come back to check. All right, so here's my answers for number 2. Go ahead and check yourself with me. If you need to pause, you can. And then here's the answers to number 3. Again, go ahead and pause if you need to and check yourself. Major things I'd like to point out that are different between a triangular prism and a rectangular prism. The first difference is perimeter of the base. On a rectangular prism, there were 4 sides you needed to add up. With a triangular prism, there's only 3. The other major difference is the area of the base formula. There's a 1/2 in it, and there's not on a rectangular prism, okay? So just things to note. All right, if you have any questions, let me know.